Greetings, fellow travelers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Frostwardens, episode 61, A Long Way from the Ark. Okay, so that's another raid defended. And just like last time, they are like punching a hole through the northern walls. Why? I hate this. Don't go through here. Don't escape this way. Ah, so dumb. But Sheepsall Pit patched up. And we'll try to prevent damage from our mining tunnels, but I don't think that will be much possible at this point. Because, alright, forget it. Well, we have a lot of holes to patch up. That's fine. At least no one died. No one was dragged away. Sheep, I'm going to put you on bed rest, because you're hurt enough that you really shouldn't be working. Would a turret up there help? Probably not. A turret doesn't take out people, like, quite fast enough to stop them from breaking through walls or doors. What might help is an alternative path of, like, a mining tunnel like this, but ultimately, they're probably going to break it anyway. What would help, I guess, is, like, the easiest path out having a bunch of deadfall traps, but I don't really want to waste the materials on deadfall trapping the exit, because they're already fleeing. It doesn't really matter to me at that point. So just dealing with the damage and chalking it up to regular maintenance seems maybe the most reasonable to me. Alright, so this Molotov here is an enemy Molotov that I should not be using, so I'm going to intentionally destroy it, because it's not mine. And JD, you're on corpse duty. I'm gonna fix my ideologies real quick. I made a little mistake. This is an imperfect fix, but at least it's a quick one. Previously, all, like, hair and beards were fine to be worn, and changing some of the memes reset that, but I don't want it to be reset, so just putting it back to the way it was, sort of. Zeusin, go preach health to Wish. And Madsen, go tend to Wish. JD's running around giving last rites to all the dead. Of which there are many. He's getting a little cold though, so have him warm up in just a moment. Alright, Wish, you are also going to be put on bed rest. Sorry, JD, for the unbelievably long day. There was just a lot of corpses. Winter, you are idle, so, like, seems to me... Oh, and that's probably because y'all need to have your zones reset. You are now on corpse task. Does shooting stat influence throwables? Yes. As does being like hypothermic or injured or whatever. It is the same sort of accuracy calculations that shooting does, because it's a more or less a shooting skill. Ooh, ambrosia. Definitely not going to burn that. So leave our constructors alone for a bit, so that they have time to patch the walls that we had destroyed. And I don't know if we're done, but that was certainly a lot of corpses. Searching for dead. There is one in the water here, one in the water there, and one here. So yeah, only 3 left. I'll just haul them now. Finish the work. Yep, those were the last 3. Perfect. All cleaned up. As if nothing even happened. Cardinal. I think getting that door and these walls are going to be the most important. And then fish pick, you're going to go for this door. I'm going to temporarily have fish pick set on high priority construction, as well as Zeusin. So Zeusin, you're going to have to be no longer access to the research table, because we have too many valuable things unguarded if we have open walls. Because the value of all the heaters and drills, like this is like 1,000 steel worth of infrastructure, which would be pretty devastating to lose. So pulling her off of research so that she can fix the external walls is more important than doing a little bit extra research. Marauder camp. Cool, but like, no. The other thing, some of the doors that we've been replacing are going to be propped open, forced open as a result, because that's the state that they should be in. But that when they get rebuilt, they don't get defaulted to that state, so it's a little awkward. Oh, speaking of which, this door desperately needs to be forced open, and I hadn't noticed. Very dangerous to have that one closed. So if we're repairing walls, that means all of the replacements have been replaced? Although that isn't true. Oh, because Cardinals queued it up. Basically, constructing is higher priority than deconstruction, which is higher priority than repair. So if your pawns are repairing, it means you've done the other requisite tasks. So that's what it looks like without snow? I know, right? It's pretty rare that we see it like that. So this door, forced open. Okay, that was not as much work as I thought it would be. So back to work. So you all had prioritized that I amass materials for the transport pods, and we did use a whole lot of our steel. I don't even know where it went, to be honest. Maybe like a heater and a drill or something. I'm not honestly quite sure. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off this stuff. You're going to head out to the plasteel. Yeah, let's not get plasteel anymore. So we're going to be amassing up iron and coal for steel. Getting the steel construction up and running. And getting ready for our trip. Because our trip, we can depart probably within a day or two. We don't really need to wait until summer. In fact, it might not even be in our best interest. And cheers. Because if we have to do a lot of overland travel, summer is obviously the best month to do the overland travel. So waiting for the summer to depart means that maybe some of the overland travel will be done in the fall, which is dangerous. And I don't want to do that. You thought wood for fuel? Yes. We do have like a nice stockpile of wood. So that's why I'm turning off that drill for now. Guess it wouldn't hurt to clean up some of the siege site construction. I'm not going to get a lot of materials out of it, but we might as well. Does alcohol production keep up with demand? I don't know. Right now we have 30 beer, and we'll just, or 31. We'll just try to keep an eye on our use. I don't think I'll keep some of our wood for construction projects. So I'm keeping 81 that won't be used. So you had voted that Wish and Winter head to the site. Now Winter, of course, has a prosthetic leg, so he won't be at full speed. But that's fine. That's what you voted on. And I think I'm planning on heading out pretty soon. So I'm just going to produce a little bit more tea and pack them up tea and beer and ambrosia and all the things that overland travelers may need. Trying to take care of our own. Question for you all. I am pretty close to having medicine production done. What is the next research project? We could do biosculpting, which would help the pilgrims primarily. Bionics, which would help the stalwarts primarily. Recon armor, tube TV if we want another recreation type. Pulse charge munitions if we want heavier hitting weapons, because enemies are starting to become armored with like marine and recon. Mortars if we want to make more shells, or glitter world meds if we want the bioregeneration cycles. So I'll give you 2.5 minutes to vote on that. And I think I am going to send our travelers. And Quantum, thank you for the resub. So Winter and Wish. The other thing that I wanted to check is the condition of their clothing. So, Winter, you need a new toque. Wishbringer, you need a new parka. Because I don't want their clothing to become tattered on the road. Wait, what the hell did you switch your I must not have clicked parka. But yeah, actually the tribal wear is better for you anyway than the shirt and the pants you were wearing. Current priority is send Winter and Wish to an Ark site. So before I do this, Wish and Winter are going to get any meal designation because they're going to be taking the package survival meals. So to be able to calculate their days of food properly, I need them to have access to that immediately. 10 tea, 10 ambrosia, 2 wake up, 2 go juice, emergency type stuff, right? 10 medicine, 15 beer, the double bed, and let's do 100 package survival meals. Caravan mass will still allow them to move. I'll do a little bit more meds than that. They are very, very, very well supplied. I don't think they need grenades for demolition purposes. And it looks like bionics is going to be the next research project. Got it. Ooh, strawberry blight. Well, the blight took the bait. Oh, Winter. No, why are you getting hurt? You know what? Fine, if you want to limp on your caravan. What started this? Cardinal started a fight calling Winter a demon. Well, way to be a... Well, you know what. So you are going to temporarily rest until healed. Who's my best dog? So Fishpick, you preach health, and then JD you'll tend with industrial meds, so he heals up faster. Given the preach health and the high quality med tending, there really ought not. Winter will recover quick out on the road. Man, that was obnoxious. We're almost done. And they're out. Yep, that is by far the closest one. Now, as part of the lifeline, I do have extra pods ready to send materials if they need it. So if we need to build extra transport pods or something like that, we have them at the ready so that they're not in any way stranded. Stickiest, thank you for the resub too. Feels chilly? Yeah, just a little. Just a little cold. Okay. Apparently, it's a very indirect path, and the time to get to the site is 16 days. That is the calculation of walking, and we have 23 days of food. So, we are going to need to set up a second pod. There really isn't a way around that, I don't think. So each pod launcher, I think what we could probably do is to get one pod launcher. So that's 50 steel and one component. And one pod, which is 60 steel and one component. So sending 110 steel and 2 components, assuming that Winter doesn't flub the construction, will be enough for them to then do a second hop over. Likewise, we'll need to send chem fuel. So, I'm going to send more components, because if they need more components and we have to do a second launch, it's just more expensive, right? It also means that we're going to want to... Actually, 84 chem fuel should be enough, but we're obviously going to need to manufacture chem fuel, like, immediately at home. So I'll do 4 components, all the chem fuel, and then we'll send 160 steel as like a little bit of insurance for messing anything up. And then let's go ahead and flick on the wood drill and the wood heater and the biofuel refiner so that we can start making more supplies. If you're wondering, they are not getting hypothermic. I don't know what the ambient temperature is on this map tile. But it's probably not very cold, given the tile's temperature that reading that we just had. Oh, I don't actually want to build that. Oops. Okay, launch. Give to Winter's Caravan, and they're going to be over-encumbered as a result of this, obviously. But they're going to settle the map tile and build a transport pod to go the full distance. So here's the map tile. Pretty boring. No wildlife. And Winter, do your best, please. So you're going to be assigned to construction. New zone. Don't wander away. Okay, I didn't actually want that fuel to be loaded up. That's unfortunate. Because only having 9 fuel to return home is a problem. So what I'm going to do is... I think we have 6 days of fuel in the ARC right now. So I'm going to disable automatic fuel refueling. I'm going to need to send them more chem fuel. Yeah, it's still negative 43 outside. That's like cold, but not going to kill them cold. And there's the bed. So what we need... Oh, wow. Talinus, thanks for all the gifted subs. Holy moly. So I'm cranking out some chem fuel for the return trip home. Because they're going to need probably 300 chem fuel for the return trip. And we just don't have the materials for that. And I hadn't sent them. This was a bit of a failure of planning. But we'll make it fast. I may also, given my current T count, want to convert some of these, some of the psychoid benches. I really only have 2 psycho benches. Never mind, I take that back. We should be okay on that front. Cheers, by the way. I'm going to set the fuel target to none for this last one, so we don't waste any fuel. They're just going to be hanging out for a minute, waiting for a resupply. Man, it is really bright on this map tile. There's really not a lot of structure that they could build with the materials that are presently available on this tile. There's no trees, there's no steel, there's no iron, there's just stone, and there's no way for even us to make a stone cutter. So it's not like there's really anything for them to do at the moment. Holy moly. You guys need to be hauling iron. It's a lot of iron just sitting around. Alright, we have 140... So this next batch of chem fuel should be enough for a one-launch resupply. Because the thing is, to get back home, we just need to launch from here to here, whereas this tile can then be resupplied with chem fuel to bring us all the way back home with the pods. So this amount of chem fuel should be enough to make the full trips possible. So we're going to do... Actually, we're going to load all the chem fuel that we can up to supply their trip. I should have done this, again, ahead of time, but I didn't. So then this gets supplied to them. Alright, I'm going to stop making chem fuel from organics so we can save food. And now that the chem fuel has arrived, you guys are going to bring 7.5 days of food. And as much chem fuel, maybe even, that's not enough chem fuel. I'm going to leave the beds behind. So, 7.5 days of food and 117 chem fuel with nothing else. It's a bit risky. Maybe what we'll do is less food. 2 meds. Something like this. Yeah, okay. And live in the bedroll. Oh, but we're going to want beer. There we go. It's sketchy, but gotta take risks. And dropping at edge. So here's the ARC site. Paul Landauer's prototype and a whole lot of stuff to deconstruct. There's also 4 seals that are going to try to kill us. So we need to defend ourselves from seal attacks. I'm grabbing everything laying on the ground. Ooh, good shot. What, brain? Heart? Heart. No problem. Okay, so here is what we need to do. Immediately, Winter and Wish should go study the prototypes and then start studying all of the research terminals as well. There happens to be a wood fire generator with 3.4 days of fuel. So it's also possible to build a makeshift heater here out of the components that we can salvage so that we actually have a place to stay warm. There's obviously beds. And there's probably rooms that are fully insulated. They have batteries. Yes, this is a site that you know, that was well supplied. So Wish is gonna, they're both gonna study prototypes. And then I'm gonna have Wish explore more of the site while Winter deconstructs things that need deconstruction. So if you're wondering, having studied this prototype, if I open dev mode and show hidden hedifs, interestingly, it's not in there. I thought it would be. Well, I guess I'm wrong. Studying the prototype didn't add the hedif. I'll study the entire site and then reassess afterwards. Alright, so Wish, you're going to start exploring. And Winter, you're going to start deconstructing. Because we're primarily here for art components. Of which we just got none from that deconstruction. Ouch. But the important thing here is also it yields components in steel. So with the components in the steel that we have, we can build our transport pod return trip home. So they have a dining room. They have, so I think maybe what I'll do is have Wish start opening up the supply crates. There's a lot of supply crates that might have stuff that is useful in them. Scrap pallets and the like. While Winter starts deconstructing stuff and studying. Although you're going to have food needs. And then as far as bedding goes... Actually, let's use the... Yeah, let's see. That will be one of the first projects that we do. Get a heater here so we don't get hypothermic. Which means... Oops. Wishbringer. Go grab some steel. And then before we go to sleep, I'll just haul the slag out. This is also carpeted ground. So if we wanted a lot of cloth, although it's really not our priority, most of our transport pod weight is going to be for the art components. But if there's spare weight, cloth is kind of a hard thing to come by, as are components. So bringing home as many components and cloth as possible might be nice. Forget walking all the way around this mountain again. I'm just going to cut a hole here. Oh, yeah. it would probably help that it had a full conduit. Nothing else in this facility are hidden conduits, so I'm not going to bother with hidden ones. But there we go. Now we have a source of heat, and that should help stave off the hypothermia. We have tables to eat on. So there's a lot more of this facility to analyze, but this is a very fair start. At this point, I'm going to create a stockpile here so that we have our supplies available for consumption, because if it's packed up on us, we can't grab it easily. I wonder if, let me check dev mode again, if either of them have studied the Ark yet. Oops. Not yet. So I'm going to have Winter do most of the studying, because Winter has a higher construction skill. Not a good one, but a higher. So Winter will analyze for that. Most of the seals, all but one, rotted. Pinniped leather is leather with very good cold insulation properties. So another thing that would be useful to do is to make a butcher table. I don't know if we have wood here. There are wood pallets. But if we can get a butcher table and butcher that seal, we can use the seal leather as a insulation, which would be helpful as well. What quality beds did I grab? They're both normal? Are they all normal? Yeah, I think they're all normal, so it doesn't really matter. Got it. Alright, up and at 'em. So Winter, let's have you go study the Ark parts. And Wish, you're going to open the pallets. And there is jerry can pallets here, which very, very helpful if we're trying to get our way home. So the quest zone for this area is this one, the incomplete Ark facility. Analyzing the prototype's data, we've pinpointed the location of a forgotten construction yard that served as a next step in the artifact project. The site, once a beacon of industrial ambition, is now a graveyard of innovation, and its machinery is left to decay under the open sky. Inside, you'll find research data and prototype machinery. It is guarded by 4 aggressive seals. Though the investigation is key to retrieving useful data from the site, it's more than half of the studyable machinery and notes are destroyed. The mission will fail. So basically, don't let stuff get broken before we study it. So plenty of wood for butchery. So we'll get a steel butcher here for that pediped. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Frostwardens, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Frostwardens.